See what you got, Anton. Take a picture out.
Hello wonderful person, this is Anton, and today we're discussing
Same stuff they do in the
a somewhat
market.
strange, newly discovered galaxy that once again presents a mystery in regards to dark matter. But the mystery here seems to be
In the end
a
of it,
little
you
bit more
needed to
intense than in
figure out
some
all
of
the
the other
things.
previously discussed galaxies.
Entropy.
Today we're discussing
Google Go. Yeah.
this study right here that, as always, you can find in the description below, that identified several really unusual galaxies, with this one being the primary one, where there's really no good explanation for why they seem to have absolutely no dark matter. And so in this video we'll talk more about what exactly the scientists think is happening here, but more importantly discuss this idea of dark matter once again, because it's a phenomenon that nobody can still explain,
I
and it's
thought
a
of it like
phenomenon
Hawking
that sort of
radiation
deserves
itself.
some
It just
sort of
kind of slips
explanation.
out. But in itself,
So
it's
let's
just the
actually start with
lensing
that. What
across
exactly did the
itself. Like when
scientists
you look at the
find or
lensing, you're
not find in these
factoring what
galaxies
makes
to make
that
them believe
lensing
that they don't
with the
contain
visual
any
eye
dark matter?
age.
So just like with the original observations
And shooting a
from several
particle
decades ago,
downrange, you
in
would
this
say,
case, all of this has something to
without
do with
gravity
the
in
so-called
there,
galactic rotation
all we have
curves.
is the
Or essentially
housing
the
5
curve
sigma
that shows
of
us
dark
how
matter.
various objects
And
in
so
a
at
typical
that
galaxy
very
move
small
around and
percentage,
orbit around the
on a
center.
very large index,
Naturally,
all
because
that
of the
weak force
observations
has to
from, for
change
example,
over
our
strong
solar
force,
system, we
get
sort of expect a lot
electromagnetism
of
running
objects
with gravity.
to orbit really fast near the center, but to orbit much slower on the outskirts. But in reality, most of the galaxies we've seen today seem to have a relatively flat rotation curve.
See,
In
a
other
heat
words,
on
the
this
stars
thing
on
could
the
be like the
outskirts
spin ratio
move
of the black
just as
hole. We
fast
don't
as the
know.
stars
You
near
don't
the
know
center.
spin, you don't know mass,
And
you
so
don't
this
know.
original observation
They
from
change
a long
things.
time ago
And
led
if the
to the
spin
eventual
ratio
proposition
doubles
of
down
this
as
idea
phase
of
orders,
dark
you may
matter,
not pin it.
some sort
But
of
there'll be
invisible
some
but very
things
massive matter that seems
why
to provide
that
galaxies
is close
with more
to that
mass than they
index
would
as
have
possible.
otherwise. This would explain the galactic
Galaxies
curves.
without them
But there are obviously other explanations. The most prominent alternative
are hard
explanation
to explain.
is the one known as the modified Newtonian dynamics, also known as MOND.
Okay,
And this
so
explanation decides
that's
to
a
do
galaxy
something entirely
without
different.
dark matter.
It literally
Here,
modifies
it
the
works.
Newtonian formula for gravity, and by modifying the formula in just the right way, the observations from various galaxies do
Newtonian.
seem to match to what this particular
Ted
formula predicts. But as you can
Pauls.
probably imagine, not a lot of people are
Jordan,
happy with modifying
Anton.
very well-known formula. And so
They
because
work
of this, a lot
by
of scientists do
symbols
not
and
accept this
shapes and
proposition,
how you
even though there is some evidence
argue
to maybe
63,
some of the things
73
being
parsecs,
correct.
but it's both
As a personal
LEGO,
side note, having
LiDAR,
studied both theories in
Navy
quite a lot of detail,
Astrology
I would have to
Center.
say that MOND has a
I know
lot more
because
issues
Anton
with it
is.
than the original proposition with dark matter. As a matter of fact, based on what we see around the universe, not just in
watch it.
galaxies but
Keep an
also
eye on
other
it.
observations from things like the most ancient light in the universe, or even from things like galactic clusters, the MOND theory has a lot of problems that cannot be explained by
You
just
see
changing the
Elon
formula. Whereas with the
and
typical
everybody
Newtonian gravity
fucking
and
else.
proposition that there is some sort of invisible matter,
See, this is why we
things
want
do make a
people
lot
like
more
this and
sense.
not.
On top of this, the ideas from the regular Newtonian physics mixed with dark matter can actually be connected to a lot of different
Well,
physics,
but-
including quantum physics, that would be
That
very,
one
very difficult
right
to
in the
do
beginning.
with MOND,
They
because it
almost
doesn't
know,
really
but
explain
they're
the
not
universe.
sure
It
that they
just
really know.
explains the galactic curves.
Right.
So for now, we're going to make an assumption that dark matter,
Yeah,
whatever
totally
it is,
prepped
this phenomenon
the land
seems to
that
be real.
renegade,
And interestingly enough,
speech
in the
and,
last few years, I
things
would
you
say in the
credo,
last
but
5 years or so,
I can get 'em
the
out
scientists
there,
have
shake
been
'em
finding
off.
these unusual galaxies, like the one you see right here that we've discussed before, that seem to
If
contain
galaxy-
practically
if
no dark
this
matter,
is X,
because when they look at those galaxies, the motion of different stars and the so-called
that
rotation
lenses them
curve
out so they
can be
make sense,
entirely
but
explained without
what
the
it tells
presence
me is
of
an
any
action of
dark
spooky
matter on
distance
the
of,
inside.
well, we have some problems
and two
with
of these
just
galaxies are pretty well known today
recognizing
and have been
standard
studied quite
models like
extensively.
that at the
And
basic
every study seems to suggest
W
that something really
boson,
strange is going on the
gluon,
inside.
Z
Or
boson,
basically, the dark matter
zeta
seems to
close
be
to 0,
absent.
close to 1.
But the team behind this recent paper
I mean,
was
I
looking
could put
around
me in the
for
middle
more
in a
of
bunch
these
of different
galaxies, and they
orientations
seem
and
to have found
combinations,
6
and
more
you
of
could
these
macro,
so-called
micro, something
ultra-diffuse
close to this
galaxies.
in the brain, I'm sure.
These are galaxies similar to what you see right here on the screen that
They're
essentially
M1 and
produce
2 mm.
very, very
They're close
little
to the
light
same, they're the
because
same
they
thing, but
don't
they're
seem to
not.
have a lot of stars on the inside. But
You
they
get
do
the whole
still have
matrix
quite a
going,
lot
you
of
could
mass
say
and
it's
usually
just
possess a
medical
really large
or
size as
MCAT.
well.
Right.
This particular
The physics
galaxy we're
on
talking
this
about
thing
today is actually
a hot
very
mess, but then
similar
an
in
MCAT's
size to the
wrong.
Milky Way
It's-
galaxy,
I like
approximately
to look at it as a
100,000
mountain
light
cat,
years
right?
across. But
lots
unlike
of
the Milky Way, this
mountains,
galaxy
lots
known
of
as AGC
45 for what you'd have to
114905,
do is an overall
the galaxy
study
that's actually pretty far
and
away,
active
approximately
to get there, which
250
does its
million
own
light years away from us,
gravitational test,
contains a
like
very
Queen's
small amount of
30 or
stars,
something like that,
approximately
but
1,000 times less
you only have
stars
so
in
much
here
time.
than the Milky Way galaxy,
So you'd have
despite
to
similar
pound down
sizes.
that kind of resource like that
And to
without
date, the major theory
which
for
have
the existence of these
alternate,
galaxies,
you are
which by the
equal
way
in
have
sector,
really been only
sometimes
recently
until you
discovered,
have pin chip
is basically the
configuration, that
presence
thing
of
to
dark matter. The
GPT-3's
scientists in
level
the
where it
past were
starts
only
to
able to
operate
explain
out
how
past
these
that limit.
galaxies are able to still sort of stick together
But using
and
a
not fall apart
Major League
is
Baseball
really because of the
bat,
huge amounts of
or
dark matter
aluminum
on the
baseball
inside.
bat,
And this is actually
and
true
for
of a
Lanton
lot of
over
different
here
dwarf
at
galaxies
the World Derby,
extremely close to the
or
Milky
World
Way as
Series,
well.
is not the
Many
same
of
thing
them
as
do seem
using
to
the
possess an extremely
baseball
large
bat.
amount of dark matter that
Stars.
seems to sort of keep them
Something
all
in the
together.
field that would
But
be
when looking at this
holding
particular
it together.
galaxy, and basically 5 other galaxies,
And we call them
the
stars,
scientists realized that
galaxies,
something doesn't add up. Their
dark
rotation
matter.
curves were basically the same as if they had nothing, no dark matter whatsoever. And when they
Black
presented
hole
this to other
putting everything
scientists,
together,
the
yeah.
other scientists essentially told them, well, it's probably still there, but you might want to just take a look at this with another telescope. And that's sort of what the scientists in this paper did. They used one of the
Take
more
a big
modern
hydrogen.
telescopes, the Very Large Array, to take a look
Getting
at this
the
galaxy
two-phase
for roughly
going,
around 40
orientation,
hours,
tidal
measuring the
forces,
exact
masses
velocity
inside
of
here.
a lot of different parts of this galaxy
Fission.
in order to create